Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2, I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4! I should have yelled 2.
All right, you know how I know you're a big deal? Because you have emails waiting for your segment. People just cannot wait to talk with you and say, hey, what in the world's going on?
Are they from my
You're a big
brothers
deal.
or
They're
what? What?
Not from my dad either.
Oh.
So this is a big deal. So are you ready to do this here?
Yeah.
Let's fire away because I've been waiting for a bit. All right, let's see. First one in.
Does this mean I have to think on my feet on Monday morning?
You do that all the time anyway. Dom and the Bison, they can't tackle. I hope they get better or they'll get beat by UND. Change some players or something. These guys just aren't getting it done. One more here. This is a little bit longer, so I'll try to condense it. Dom, I was guilty as many Bison fans were. After ETSU went by 12, I turned the channel. What? We'll be turning off WDAY and went to the Northern Iowa-Nebraska game and took to social media on how embarrassing performance again on defense that was displayed and how to come back from this loss. After hearing rumblings they were coming back, I flipped back to the game to see the comeback. The offense played okay. Cam again played like a Peyton winner. I think as some players, like Cam said in postgame, some guys just mailed this in and didn't take it seriously. Let's start there because we both interviewed Cam Miller after the game. He acknowledged that. What do we take from that?
He said he thought some players took it a little loose.
Yep.
And I guess I think they played like it, especially defensively. There wasn't really that hard edge.
No.
And I mean, is it a trend?
It's 2 out of 3 games.
26 to Colorado.
And 35 to ETSU. You can't tell me Colorado's offense is not as good as ETSU.
I think
either,
Tim
by the way.
Paulsek has the old adage of you have 24 hours to celebrate a win or you have 24 hours to get over a loss.
Yep.
And I think now that they've had 24 hours to celebrate the win, I have to wonder how the discussions went yesterday at the coach's office and this morning, how they're going. Are you going to change or mix things up? What can you do? You talk about defensively.
Yep.
I mean, the middle linebackers had 4 tackles.
Correct.
Stats don't lie.
Kubitz's best play came late in that game on the 3rd down stop before they got the ball back there.
And Grant Olson said Nathaniel Staling's the best backup linebacker or 3rd string in the country.
Yep.
Well, do you give him a shot?
All right, let's rip the Band-Aid off on that. Okay, so there's 2 lines of thinking on that. And Sam brought this up in the first hour, if they're not playing yet, maybe there's a reason why they're not playing.
Well, I don't
yet.
know if you can throw a guy in the middle of the second half if things aren't going your way defensively. If he hasn't been taking the first team, I don't know if you can do that.
Okay.
Maybe not.
The other part,
but maybe you say, okay, on Monday you're the guy. You are taking the first team reps.
The other part to that is something that we brought up on Bison Game Day on Saturday morning. That do you risk upsetting your upperclassmen in the locker room by benching a captain? Craig Bold did this. I brought this up on Bison Game Day on Saturday. Cyrus Lemon was a captain, starter at safety that was replaced by true freshman Colton Heagle, and we know the rest is history there. Is that a bold move that maybe needs to happen here? I don't know.
Dom, they gave up 270 yards rushing.
Yeah, I know.
270 yards. And if that quarterback, Jalen King, could have thrown,
yes,
he was 5 of 15.
Yeah, correct.
Missed an wide open guy down the right sideline, or it could have been worse.
Yep. Couple other emails here.
I don't think you can, objectively, if you're the coaching staff, after you're done celebrating, you wake up Sunday morning and go, okay.
A full evaluation of what we have. Now,
it's college football.
Yep.
This is Division I football.
Yep.
They do it. They do that in They do it in high school.
I know. I think everyone underestimated ETSU, especially the Bison fans. They have some good players on both sides. The defense is obviously just not very good right now for NDSU. The DNs don't get to the quarterback. Bad angles are taken towards the ball carrier, and their tackling is just a mighty struggle. That's 3 years running, by the way, on tackling. That's something we got to address as well. We've talked about this for 3 years running now. I think it's a lack of talent. NDSU used to have numerous dudes on defense. They don't right now. Cam Miller won that game. He is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think it's coaching because these guys, by and large, Nick Gazer's been there when they were a really good tackling team.
Grant Olson's been there when they were a really good tackling team.
I don't think they've changed their coaching methods. I think the emailer's right. I think it just comes down to players. And we've said it before.
Yeah.
I'm not a tackling expert. I was a slot back, man. I was that scat back. I avoided those people. But I think when it comes down, are you there? Are you athletic enough to get there in position instead of reaching for tackles, arm tackles? Are you half step faster to get to that gap instead of diving for them? I'm just guessing.
And
I don't sit there and break down defensive tape.
Well, you and I have said it for 2.5 years that no one has separated themselves at the middle linebacker position. Maybe there's a reason why that's the case, that no one is, that they're both Kubitz and Wirtz are both there, and they're both solid players, but are they not the defensive standout like a Jackson Hankey was, like Grant was in his day, like Nick DeLuca was? I don't believe that's there.
What did Grant Olson had, 29 tackles in one game?
Yes.
Think about that. 29.
Here's a simple email. Is it time to play younger guys at linebacker? That's what we're talking about.
We just discussed it.
You know,
if you're going to do it, you got to do it now.
You got to rip the Band-Aid off one time or another. Yes.
Towson, non-conference.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you can't go back.
Nope. But if you're going to do it, this would be the optimum time to get into this. One more here. Dom and Jeff, week 3 thoughts. Unclean and undisciplined play on both sides of the ball. 12 penalties, Jeff. That was the roughing the passer late in the game was bad.
I thought that was an iffy call. But
and Kyle said that as well. And we both said on the broadcast there were worse that's not been called. But they would delay a game. They were off sides a couple times. You can't have that.
Illegal motion or illegal procedure.
Illegal formation they had a couple times. Cam and the young wide receivers were clutched out in the stretch. We'll say that.
Yeah, Mekhi Collins.
Really good.
I think he's coming along.
Jackson Williams had a monster play that was called back because of a hold.
I think he's going to be the guy. Yes, I do. Yep. I think he's going to play Bryce Lance. And I was joking with Matt Henson upstairs that if Cam and Bryce Lance, if they would have counted the out-of-bounds catches, instead of 22 or 34, he would have been like 26 or 34. He was just, and he admitted after the game, he goes, it wasn't my best game, talking about Cam.
Yep.
He was just maybe a bit off on some of those sideline throws. He missed Gores over the middle on a 3rd down. That would have been a 1st down. But then he came back and won the game. So, and I think he's still in the Peyton certainly conversation for sure.
Absolutely. Last part of this email,
especially after Gronowski threw 2 bad picks.
Gronowski has not been great to start the year. Too many big plays given up in the run game on 2nd, 3rd, 4th and long, especially QB runs. 3rd and 9.
3rd and 9, yeah.
3rd and 9 quarterback run for 14. 2nd and 10, 61-yard touchdown run, which we'll show in a second. 2nd and 15, QB run for 11. 4th and 7, QB run for a 1st down.
That's 4th and 8.
Yeah. So just
8 yards.
So there's a few pieces of video I want to dive into.
Okay.
First is the onside kick, which the Bison, and I had my notes in front of me. I have a ton of useless notes that if you need it. And when the onside kick is live, we're not sure if they're going to do it. And the fact that, they recovered it, first off, it hit the guy's face mask. And Darius Givens, tremendous special teams player, he has been that for the last year and a half, is the one to recover it. I have it. Kyle sees me looking around like I'm going like a madman because I'm trying to find my note. Corey Vartanian was the last one to recover an onside kick.
Is that right?
2005.
Let me think.
Was the last time that happened prior.
I couldn't tell you what game.
But that's a picture because we interviewed Caden Steindorf, who did the onside kick, and asked him about it. They've been working on it. That was a picture perfect way to recover a fumble or an onside kick, excuse me.
And that was their best shot. I don't think defensively you could depend on them to stop them on 3 plays.
Right? I mean, that alone. So when
even though they had
happens,
2 timeouts, but
I mean, first off, for East Tennessee State, you cannot script it out any worse. It hit the guy right in his face mask, and Steindorf said he's trying to kick it to him, trying to go 10 yards, and he's the one to get the football.
But he dove a little early, right?
And he reacted first, and Darius Givens hopped on it. After that, Jeff, like up in the booth, like, all right, you mentioned 2 timeouts, the amount of time they had left, they're likely going to win this football game. I want to highlight Cam Miller here because we talked about it. We have a couple emails come in on his performance, and I know what he said to us after the game, it wasn't his best, but holy cow, he was pretty
good,
pretty
for
darn
not being
good
his
Saturday
best.
night for what we saw.
And I just when they recovered that fumble or the onside kick, you just knew it was almost over. I had that sense like, wow, okay, they're going to go and win this game. I don't think there's East Tennessee State. Plus, they just got off the field.
This play is remarkable. He got hammered on that to hit Gores on that. It's 4th and 10, and he got absolutely blown up.
Now, was Gores the intended receiver? Can we play that again?
No, I don't believe so. I don't. We can round it back here in a second. But that was a huge. Like Kate Osterman, who hadn't had a catch yet, at a monster reception.
Looked pretty good there, didn't he?
Late in the fourth quarter on that. After this play, you'll see the replay of the Gores reception. Yes, Osterman did, along with, we mentioned Williams. We mentioned
Collins
and what they did. Watch again here. I don't think Gores is the guy. It could have been Osterman down there because he was in there, but right place.
Because he got hit and just
right
couldn't
time.
get enough.
Unbelievable play there. And just sensational. We've said it throughout the summer leading into the season. If the Bison are going to have a chance to be back in the national title conversation and win it, Cam Miller has to play his best football.
So
he has done
the
that.
Bison lost Zach Mathis and Eli Green, but I feel like there hasn't really been a drop-off. Have you?
No.
No.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
I would say the wide receiver play has been pleasantly surprising. We're talking about the struggles on the one side of the ball. I would not say that's the case.
And Bryce is a threat deep. He is that deep threat now.
Yep. That was something we were.
Mackay, he's using his 6'4", 215-pound frame. That's what you want in that guy. I think Osterman there, now they have a little trust in him. And then Jackson Williams, his kickoff return, there's some speed there.
Yeah, that set him up for another. They got, I think, 3 out of that. I think they got a field goal on the.
And let's not forget about this game about Eli Ochik, and because his 54-yarder really, I mean, you could say that was a point differential, point spread difference.
Yep.
Hitting a 54-yarder, and that had yards to spare. Plus, nobody's returning a kickoff.
Nope, he's blasting everyone for a touchback. Let's go back to Johnny Gores because we have not talked about this yet. Was the fumble on the punt? Because I believe some in the SoCon office are going to send a tape in wondering how they didn't get the ball back. We have 2 unbelievable replay angles on this to show you how he got the ball back. I still can't figure out how they got it back. There are 4 ETSU guys there.
And he's like 3 yards away from it.
Yes, but the ball squirted loose. So the top camera angle, watch this one, Jeff. Watch his left arm. The ball's loose there, and yet he's going to come in and he's going to get it. There's another low angle, and I said this on the air. Like this is the shot here. Watch again, right there. He's got it. He's got the football. That's unbelievable. And if that doesn't happen, they lose the game.
Yep,
the game is over.
Hey, he's a inspirational player for a walk-on, and he's made a couple big plays as a receiver. But I think the days of punt returning,
that might be over.
Temporarily suspended.
Okay,
yep,
that's 2 in 2 weeks, and obviously he had the big return after he fumbled it against TSU, and then this one, miraculous that he got that back. Lastly, and we talked about it, and we're going to see a couple replays here. Was on the defense of angles and just guys out of position. You mentioned 277 rushing yards for East Tennessee State in the game, and that's the thing is we look forward now for we got Towson coming up here on Saturday, and then it's on to Valley play because the Bison are going to see teams that can run the football way better than ETSU can, and I don't know what you do to fix it.
Do you feel like if there was good run defense in that game, that this would have been like a 38-10 game? Yes.
I think that's what the coaching staff is counting
go
on.
right down and score, but then they take they come back and go the length of the field. And the killer was the drive to start the third quarter that took half the third quarter.
Took 7.5 minutes.
The defense could not get him off the field, and your offense, who was scoring mostly, I mean, not at will, but they were scoring at a pretty good clip. I mean, and plus East Tennessee had the ball at the end of the second half, or first half. So the Bison offense never saw the ball for 9 minutes.
Yeah, because they traded possessions there at the end. And this was his best throw of the night, the touchdown to Lewis. That's a fantastic play. And he's their best player. Lewis is. He was really good.
6'5" tight end.
He's really good.
Looks more like a receiver than a tight end.
But again, see, this is the big touchdown that Irby had. I mean, they're just
look at
there's
the
a
angles,
hole, right?
Yeah. Darius took a bad angle there again.
And just that's the question du jour, that'll come up tomorrow during. I mean, that's just a simple bounce to the outside, and there's nobody there. Like I'm not sure why.
See, we're talking about linebackers being in position. Do you see Gully had to dive for it? And there's a difference between being good enough and fast enough and anticipating the play to be in position,
in the right spot,
and in the right gap, than diving at somebody's legs.
Another one here that Irby nearly broke. That was in the fourth quarter of the game. That was nearly cemented away for a touchdown there. Just it's some head shaking plays, head scratching plays, however you want to describe it on what went down. We'll break. We come back. Much more with Jeff on the other side of the break, including looking ahead to Towson, who nearly knocked off top-ranked Villanova. We'll preview that and much more. More of your emails as well. We're back on Hot Mic right after this. All right, back here with Jeff Kolpack. Got a few more tweets, emails coming in. Appreciate it. Keep them rolling in. Dom and Jeff, on the Bison defense, if players have proven they can't run the scheme, do you make changes and start doing things that can do? They are not young on the front seven now. Everything has to be on the table for changes for this defense. I don't argue that.
Yeah, when you give up 270, yeah, absolutely.
I would say because the front seven are fairly experienced there. That's not the inexperienced part, like on the back end there. Another email comes in. Dom and Jeff, I also feel the coaches aren't to blame for our tackling issues, but I feel like tackling has become more complicated with the new styles that need to be taught to players. Head in front is no longer a thing, and now we have to teach head behind, and the leverage just isn't the same. Tackling with your chest and arms is the only way to keep the head out of it, and it's for the best, but I've seen a lot more broken tackles.
Why don't I demonstrate that on you? I'll demonstrate
that Saturday morning?
The tackling techniques.
Okay. But in all seriousness, though, it's been a common thread here for 3 years now.
Well, last year I think they just kind of got more basic after the UND game, and things started to work out. I don't know maybe
you do that again. I don't know. We're only 3 games in, though. I mean, I'm not sure how complicated it is to begin with. Again, I'm not a great defensive mind if it's more personnel than it is scheme. But can it be a little bit of both? Can they, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe we made more of it, and I'll take the blame on this, of what we saw from the second teamers against Tennessee State. And again, I know the competition they were facing. But if they're flashing, making plays, give them a chance this week. Let's see what happens.
And also, a little spoiled here because this program over the years has been one of the top run defenses in the country, which is a big reason why they've won 9 titles, is because nobody can really run the ball on. Look at South Dakota State last 2 years. Gave up, 9-10 points a game last year? Nobody could run the ball on them.
Nope.
But that's the standard.
Yeah.
And if you're talking a program capable of going to the Mountain West right now, you think a program be capable of stopping the run against, good FCS teams, not great, but good.
It's like you're a professional broadcaster. Next up on my topic
was
because you interviewed Matt Larson prior to the game on Saturday. I was there. What do we take on the latest on where things are at with conference realignment, and are the Bison on the tee?
Well, we'll never know because these things are done behind closed doors. Look at Boise, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Fresno. This didn't go down just last week. They didn't start talking last week. It's probably been a year in the making. Who knows with presidents behind closed doors. So also, when they got ready to announce it, somebody leaked it a day before.
Correct.
Obviously, they've been talking a long time. And so these things don't happen overnight. But I think the sense is if it happens, it's going to be quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna come quick. Better be ready.
I think Pac-12.
I think they're in the mix, right?
The Pac-12 is going to add 2 more. And they're likely going to add a Texas school, and Memphis seems to be everybody on.
Well, how about UNLV?
Mind.
I think they're tied to Nevada, right?
Correct, because they're under the same school board there. So if
maybe
maybe
UNLV can untie themselves.
Because UNLV seems, and they had a huge win at Kansas on Friday night. Now they're ranked. You want to be in Vegas. You want to be in Texas. You want to be in Vegas if you're a sports entity right now. But there's also, I have to imagine, there's going to be some political pressure put on the FBS ranks because they're going to want to close up shop on not sharing any TV money about adding any other FCS schools. And maybe the Mountain West might feel the pressure from other entities on that. I don't know. That can't be taken
One
lightly.
source told me that SDSU and NDSU may be the most likely Mountain West additions,
It would
not the
seem-
Montanas.
Yeah. If you're looking at TV market size, Fargo and Sioux Falls kick the heck out of Missoula and Bozeman. I would do because I'm taking Sioux Falls. Hello, everybody down there that watches us with Brookings. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's not even the discussion part. As a TV guy, I would tell you that in a heartbeat. And brand wise, I think those are the two top FCS
Those two
right
and
now.
NCAA men's basketball. How many men's basketball tournaments have they made since 2009?
Oh gosh,
Bison 4.
Yeah, the
South Dakota
Jacks have made, I
State
think
3,
I
5.
think it's 6 now. The Jacks
So
have been
10 times
Jacks have been, I think,
since
6 times.
2009.
Yeah.
That's pretty good brand right there.
Yep, that's all right. We'll see. I tend to agree with you. It's going to happen quickly. I got to see it to believe it. Like we mentioned last week,
I know.
geography hasn't changed for Fargo and Brookings. Nothing's changed there. That's the thing.
But the
that even
NDSU's
gets them.
budget is around $30 million this year, and the belief is you have to get to around 40. And my belief is they think they can do it if they have to.
I think they could too.
Yep. And you got to remember, and I covered this, and you did to an extent, when the Bison went from Division II to Division I, there was a report by CSNL, Car Sports Leisure, who did the study. And they said, well, I think you're capable of raising like, I don't know, $7 million budget or something like that. And everybody's going, really? But then when they went Division I, it just brought out so much more money in the alums and the boosters and the friends that they're much more willing to kick in at Division I than they were at Division II.
Correct.
Irv Iniger found that. He's going around the country. He's in Arizona and Florida going, oh, wow, these people got money. And they're willing now that they can see their name on the ticker and see their Division I behind it. Will that change too with FBS?
Absolutely.
Would more people be willing to kick in at FBS?
I think you would get even more people involved on that.
I believe so too.
And here's, you know why?
Why?
Because North Dakota State could then say, we can schedule Wisconsin. Nebraska may play it now. Gophers still may never play it. Maybe those other ones won't. But you know who you could get? Maybe Notre Dame. Maybe Boise State. Maybe you can go play West Virginia. You're going to go play schools that you never had a chance in a million years of playing. You could go and play them now. Absolutely. And there's some that are still going to say, no, we're not playing a Dakota school, but it's not an FCS anymore. If it's labeled, if you're an FBS or Division 1A school, you get a heck of a lot more doors open now.
And
than
if,
you would do,
if it's
than you
just
can.
and if it's just the Dakota schools, the recruiting footprint is expanded and more impressive in that the nearest FBS would be Brookings, Northern Illinois, Tulsa, Wyoming.
Yep.
And so you would have that FBS moniker all in Minnesota and Wisconsin to go there and battle with the Jacks or Northern Illinois over these guys.
You could battle Iowa because I know they do that too.
That
for
too.
Some guys.
Minnesota.
Yep.
I mean, now you're probably a little bit more in the mix with the Gophers.
And you know what? Even in your own backyard, because they're coming up here. We see it. Kleiman's coming up here. There's others that are coming into Matt Rule's coming into this state. Now, if you're that, you're more in the fight. I'm not saying you're going to win it, but you got more of a chance.
And the Bison are out recruiting Wyoming now.
Correct.
I think
they're out recruiting Northern Illinois.
They probably
would
out recruit Tulsa. Where would you rather go?
Yeah. Well, that's an easy one on me. Real quick, I want to throw this out there to tease it because
boy, we're really pipe dreaming here, aren't we? Or are we?
I don't think so. I do not think so. I know it may seem like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth here. Yes, I still think it's a moonshot. But if it's as close to a moonshot now of landing
I feel like this is the best chance.
I would think so.
I've seen since all this movement started.
Yes. Homecoming week, it's also Hall of Fame week, and it's a big week on the Hall of Fame front. The two best Division I men's basketball players are going in.
The two, I would argue, the most important players
I would
in
agree with that.
Bison basketball
Ben
history.
Woodside and Brett Winkleman.
And what they did in helping bring the program up.
The most important Division I figure for North Dakota State.
I talked to Craig on Friday.
Craig Bull is going
by phone.
Yeah.
And for a big story I'm doing this week, he goes, well, I hope not to get emotional. I'm thinking, you?
I know it.
But I think now that he's out of the coaching business, I think he's a little more reflective.
A big
little more appreciative.
Okay. So I'm really intrigued on how the fans react here. It's been 11 years for the fans. I know he's been back a few times. He's actually been back quite a bit since I got retired at Wyoming. But the fans, they know, they read your book of what went down. It was awkward. It was not great in January of 2014. But time, as they say.
Oh, I can't
heals
believe
all
anybody
wounds.
harbor anything on that.
I am
It's
intrigued.
been too long.
I'm intrigued to see
The guy
the
built
reaction
the
he gets.
dynasty. Let's call it like it is.
No, you're not
Appreciate that.
I'm not arguing that one iota. I'm just.
And if you
curious on
want to
the
read about
reaction.
it, my book's available on Amazon.com.
But we have our fingers crossed that.
I should get some books and have Craig sign them a little
right?
bit.
There you go.
Wow, I might make like $20 this week.
Hey, I signed your book.
You did. I got that on. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
But we're very hopeful that he will join us on Bison Game Day, like old times. Craig did that long before the pregame show was a huge thing. You remember? Bowl did that.
Yep.
Every week he would come and we would interview him.
Was that a
before the
hard thing
game.
for you to do, to sign my book? Was that a little humble pie?
Not at all.
Was that?
I felt loud.
What did you write?
Well, I said.
What did you write in there?
I said enjoy pages 68 through 80
Oh, yeah.
when I'm quoted in there.
Yeah. Correctly, I should add.
But our hope is that we're going to get Bull on.
Did I quote you in that book?
Yeah, a few times.
Did I?
About the Bull climbing situation. Yes, I'm definitely quoted in there. Great stuff, bud. And we'll see you in a couple minutes for our Bison video
Sounds
blog coming
great.
up. Jeff Kolpack joining us here each and every Monday. We'll have our Bison video blog coming up here later today. You can check it out at inforum.com. Tim Polasek's press conference tomorrow at 1:30. We'll take a break. We come back. The star from the Dragons' comeback win. Brady Perriman will join us next on the thriller of the Dragons finally beating Duluth. We'll do that right after this.